the card shows to the trade nights, from vintage grails to modern heat. This is the podcast where collectors come together. Hosted by Nick, Brock, and Dan from Pal Sports Cards, and Devin from Roth, Razzes, and Repacks. Welcome to Between the Slabs. Between the Between the Slabs. Between the Slabs.
All right, so I got it to work on Facebook, Instagram. So, guys, we are live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. We're on the Roth Razzes page. So, how you guys doing tonight?
What's up?
Sell those Jaylen Brown Celtics jerseys right now. Burn them.
So, I'll let you start on this. Are you excited?
Oh, I'm thrilled. I mean, you talk about a young core of Maxey, VJ, Brown. I mean, they got old man PG off the books, and, you know, I just think
I think we lost Dan.
Dan sounded like he was down at NASA.
I know, it's like
Listen to rockets launch.
Are you working like in an airplane or something? Still can't hear you, bud. This is what happens when you go live, people. You got to figure things out. So
Technical difficulties.
Technical
Probably needs another phone upgrade.
So yeah, big news. While Dan fixes his stuff there, as soon as we got on here to set everything up, Devin's like, "You gotta be kidding me! He's going nuts." My son's texting me. Celtics gave up Jaylen Brown to go into Sixers for old man. You know, as my kid called him, Unc Paul George, and a few other things going on. I mean, but why? Why would you give up one of your, if not your best player, to an in-division rival who you have to play multiple times?
See it more and more now anymore. I'm not sure. He seemed like the clear-cut number one when Tatum was out. Even when Tatum was there, he seemed like a clear-cut one. So I'm not sure really why they moved him. 2 first-round picks and Paul George doesn't really make sense, but you know, I'm not a basketball GM for a reason, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this, I will be getting a Jaylen Brown Sixers jersey when they're out.
Sorry, you could probably order one now already. You could probably
Right now, that's what I'm saying. I think Dan's probably beat me to it. Pretty sure that's what he's doing right now, but he might tell you otherwise.
Will they dump Embiid now?
I would hope so. I don't think that you need 3 ball-dependent guys like that. Maxey needs the ball in his hands as much as possible, and so will Brown. I don't see Embiid. He likes to dribble a lot. I would move him for depth pieces. You see the last couple NBA championships now. I mean, the Knicks had depth. They didn't necessarily use them in the playoffs, but depth wins nowadays. The Spurs, the Thunders, you need depth. So I think for the Sixers, their next step would be dump Embiid, get a couple bench pieces, and
could it be they're going, because you look at what they're putting together now. Their first round pick they had this year, was he from Alabama? He's a speed guy, right? I mean, they're putting together a track team here. If they dump,
and they needed,
who knows? I mean, they could just be going for speed, and because they got tired down the stretch. I mean, they had no depth. Everyone was tired. Could they be just looking to outrun you this year?
we're back.
100%.
Yeah, you're back.
We're back,
You're out of the launch pad. It's, we can hear you again.
All right.
What color jersey you order?
I'm gonna go with the 2001
Old
black
school
and gold.
Black. Yeah, I knew it.
I mean, dude, he looks great in that already. I mean, but I'm just
Your retro.
I can't believe it. I mean, I'm waiting for people to be like, "Oh, it's a joke, like it's not true."
but it's awesome.
And I totally forget we were even going to talk about tonight because now this hit and it's, I know Dan's excited, Devin's excited. Devin ran out of the room to go tell the boss, So
Tell the boss.
had to report. Speaking of, Dan, last week you had to jump off quick. We got some mailbag. Remember that? So, so people have some questions for you. So Devin's kind of new to this. We get some emails from time to time, people asking us questions. Usually it was directed at making fun of us or telling us how awful the show was, mostly coming from, we found out a few of them were coming from close family members who were just really like, what are you doing? You could be doing something. So first mailbag came from BP. It said, when are you guys going to talk about the NBA draft? Does Dan really understand basketball?
Oh, man.
So go ahead, Dan. Give us your recap of the draft. And, got to make the fans happy.
I mean, I think overall there was really no surprises anymore. I mean, you already, with the NIL stuff and everything like that, I mean, there were some guys who decided to stay and not come out. They could have been potential top 15 picks. But to me, it was kind of pretty standard. I don't think there was any crazy, sexy, flashy picks. But again, I just feel like that's a lot of the major sports, the NBA. I feel like the NBA is probably one of the most predictable draft orders of the major sports. Everything's kind of set in stone, but to question my basketball knowledge because of that, I mean, that's, I would say, feels personal, but it is what it is, I guess. But those lax bros can be brutal. I know how those guys can be.
Well, let's not assume.
Yeah.
Because we do have people actually that are watching us live right now on Instagram and on Facebook, and we actually have people watching. So you people put some comments in there. If you have questions for Dan, especially about the NBA draft, throw it in there. Maybe he can answer it for you. So real quick, last week we talked a lot about people who are they're blowing, I don't want to say blowing their money, but they really are. They're making some bad decisions, bad buys, or, just buying real high, putting stuff on a credit card, almost like, so we got a few people were, when all the reels and stuff went out, making comments about what do you look for then? How they're starting to build a quote unquote business where they want to flip cards. What's something you guys look for? What's a plan? What do you go after? How do you know to go after? Do you go after a lot of big stuff, or do you after more little stuff and build your way up? I mean, Devin, when you started, what did you do?
Anybody that knows me, anybody that's ever been to a show that I've been at, I love autographs. So I've originally, even when I started collecting, I like collecting memorabilia. I like signed stuff. So when I started collecting cards, it was a lot of autographs and such.
Dan's gone again.
But yeah, so as I collected, it was just a lot of stuff. I'd say, I like to look at the stock market. I try buying stuff that I think is going to go up in value, but guys I think are going to do good throughout a season. Quarterbacks are a little more on the pricey side. I like running backs and receivers. That was one thing I always looked at. If you're looking to go all in on something, maybe a quarterback's the way to go because there's such high-end potential. If you look at Drake May this last year, his cards skyrocketed in prices. $200 autos were $1,000 autos by the season end. With all the MVP hype, Super Bowl hype. So if you're looking to kind of invest in one bigger card, quarterbacks can be the way to go. If you're looking to branch out into a few smaller end pieces, running backs and receivers low end stuff that has high end potential. Last year, Lad McConkey was the guy I bought high into. In the summer, most of his autos, the base autos, you could buy for 25, $30, much like they are right now. The tops autos of Lad McConkey are about like $20. To me, I think that's an easy $30 card. So
I agree. And I could watch Dan on here all day because it's almost sad and pathetic that he's on and then he just shows like the top of his car and then he's off and then he's back on and then he's off. I mean, we got questions coming in here on Instagram. You know, someone wants to know what his favorite pick of the draft was and he can't even answer it. Come on, Dan, get back on. You know, so like I agree with you with everything pretty much that you said. Our take on it and how I've tried to run it is that, and here's coming back on, so I'm going to give them the answer to the question before I even complete my thought, is I always tell people, I look at it to be more of like a pyramid scheme. You got to build your base with stuff that is solid, whether it be vintage stuff or just low dollar cheap stuff. Build your base with that. That if because then think about how a triangle or pyramid goes up when it gets towards the top. That's what you want your more of the stuff that's risky. You want that to be the very top of your pyramid. So that way when you're and it's that way with any business, you got to have a solid base, a solid foundation for things to actually work out. I always like to do it where that base of ours is something that if we buy it and say we don't look to flip it for 6 months, a year, it won't break the bank on you. I just watched a video on a guy the other night who said he's doing nothing but whatnot shows and he's been just losing money hand over fist to the point where some stuff's not even selling. He's averaging about a $1,600 loss per show. And it's like, at some point you have to just cut the bleeding and think about what inventory do you have? Because unless you have a bunch of followers on Whatnot, I'm sorry, you're not going to sell on Whatnot. You can't run an auction with two people in the room and think it's going to, run $100 card started at $5 and think it's going to get to $100 with only two people. Odds are it's not. One of those people is probably not even paying attention. They're probably just in the room, and the other one's going to get it for dirt cheap. That's not going to end unless you get people in the room, and that's the tough part with Whatnot and with anything else. You got to build the base, and I think people just see the flash and that superfractor is this, and I don't even touch that crap because I can't do it. I don't want to have to be sitting here and be like, oh, I have to go sell this today, or it's going to like ruin the life. I don't want that. I'll someday I might be able to build to that. I remember when we pulled our first downtown. We didn't have any downtowns ever because we started out with, Brock and I started with like minimal money, and we just said let's build this thing up, let's waterfall it. So that's what we did. And then we used to think people had $100, $200 card in their showcase. We're like, whoa, those guys are high rolling, because we had nothing but $5 cards. Now we're at that point where we have a few $100 cards in there, but we're comfortable with it. I don't want to get, and there might be someday I'm comfortable with $5,000 cards in the showcase. Don't know, but I don't want to just jump in and do that. And I think that's the way you've done it too, where you have to make sound decisions, not just do. You can't try to keep up with the Joneses because most of the Joneses of this industry are broke and don't know what they're doing. Okay, that's my feeling on things. Most people are broke, living on credit, and don't know what they're doing when it comes to this. Yeah, they have the flash there, but that doesn't mean they're a sound business person and actually making money at this.
Yeah, and you hit it on the head. When you think about a pyramid, like your base, I would say my base was local stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an Eagles fan. I'm live in the Pennsylvania market. When I started doing shows, I naturally had a lot of Eagles cards out of stuff that I bought, put out my extras, and I noticed that was what a lot of people liked about my table. So it's like when I started, like my base was, Philly market, New York market, the stuff that sold for where I was. any business model, you got to understand who you're trying to sell to. That's like the core about business is understand, who you're trying to market to, and whether it's cheap end, low end, high end, don't matter. It's just understanding, what you're trying to do and make the most of it.
Yeah, and what we try to do here is, and this isn't like I should be writing a book or anything. It's not. I didn't think of this. I didn't make it up. It's just something we did. We take low, and when I say low, I mean low end cards, 25-cent cards, and we take our time. I try to make it so it actually looks nice. I scan them. I put them on buysportscards.com, sell them all for 25 cents. And we take that profit every month. Now, these are cards that we buy in bulk from people, so we probably paid maybe 5 cents a piece for in the end, because we're buying, this stuff at and a lot of them are base cards, some of them are just low-level inserts, things like that. And we take that profit every month, and that's the profit we use to buy something bigger with. So we're selling the base of the pyramid to feed the top of it. We don't. Hardly ever do we come and say, hey, let's all invest $5,000 so we can buy this card. We don't do that. We take the money we sold that month, and some months are better than others. Last month for us was very good. This month was a little bit slower, so that just means we didn't have as much money to go buy more stuff with. And so we just take all that money that we keep investing in inventory, and that profit or a loss, because that does happen. Losses happen in this business. It's the way it is because it's market value stuff. And we just keep rolling that in. So if our capital is $1,000, that's what we have in a baseline capital, but we made $500 in profit, not in sales, in profit this month, our now capital turns to $1,500. And then the next month, we might have lost $500. Then it goes back down. That's the way you have to think of it. You just can't keep feeding things. If you just keep feeding money into this to buy, especially modern stuff, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. It's just the way it's a law of averages. This is legalized gambling when you're buying packs. Really, it is. The house always wins. Every once in a while you get a big hit, yeah. But in the end, if you just keep buying without any kind of regulation on it, you'll lose in the end. There's no doubt about it. So, all right, here's a question. Devin, you can answer this one. This is from Under 37. How do you learn what the top tier should be? Hype versus noise.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just trusting your gut. I wouldn't say it was overly hard. By week 4 last year, everybody and their brother was posting buying Drake May, buying Drake May, buying Drake May. I would say everybody pretty much knew that, hey, Drake May cards are up right now. Sam Darnold is as soon as the playoffs hit in Seattle, those $5 cards we talked about again. You want to take an all-out swing. Sam Darnold's a guy. He was next to nothing. He was a third-string quarterback, and this year now his autos are a couple $100.
Yep.
But I don't think it's overly hard, at least for the top tier, to figure out who the hype is. Number one, draft picks. There's always a new shiny toy. Rookies are always a new shiny toy. New products are always way hyped up.
Look at the Topps football that came out a month or two ago now.
Yep. The new Cosmic just came out, and their stuff's astronomical right now.
Yeah, and and as soon as everybody gets their hands on it, and it's gonna drop.
Yep.
It is, because there's no competition anymore. There's no competition. Unless you want unlicensed stuff, then there can be competition. But it's gonna drop. How I look at it as, again, I keep talking about a pyramid or a triangle. Your top tier has to be established people. Whether it be guys say, for example, Mickey Mantle, Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan. If you want a guy who's still playing who's established, Mahomes is established. I don't know if there's many other guys playing right now who their stuff is pretty much established. There's some who you think there's going to be, but I don't know if there's any that I would sink my money into being like, all right, this guy's a first ballot Hall of Famer right now. So when I think about, like, I'll keep looking at the other screen to make sure I'm answering the question right. Top tier, my top tier isn't anybody who's playing right now. My top tier is, like I said, for us, or at least for me, it's Mickey Mantle. His stuff is solid. Any vintage baseball Hall of Famer, Ernie Banks, Willie Mays, that stuff, it's like a very well established stock. It's the General Electric where it's just going to slowly climb. So to me, that's top tier. Now that top tier, if you look at my pyramid, is at the base of it. It's not the top. To me, bottom is less risk. Top is risky. If you buy a Mickey Mantle, you're not being real risky. Okay? Because it's a pretty solid investment. Unless you buy a $1 modern Mickey Mantle card that comes out and you spend $5,000 on it. But if you buy a vintage card, that's not risky. Okay, risky is buying in like Brock Purdy and saying, all right, this guy's going to be a Hall of Famer someday, and buying everything you can and spending thousands upon thousands of dollars on him. So I try to stay away from the hype.
And I was gonna say, I think the really answer the question, like, all hype's noise.
Yeah.
Really, like, just going off what you're saying, the current market, that all the guys are playing now, all it really ever is hype and noise. Is when the guys are playing good, the cards go up, and when they're playing bad, it goes down. So it's really just, it is feeding off that hype. If you want to build, like you said, a strong foundation, a strong core, it's your retired players they're not going to do anything. Their numbers can't go down. They're already retired.
And it doesn't have to be expensive cards either.
Nope.
I mean, think about, like, one of my favorite players and I never even watched him because he's a lot older than me, is Dick Butkus. You look at Dick Butkus cards, there's not many, even like his rookie card doesn't go for a lot. He's not a quarterback. So there's not a lot of, hype around it. Even Barry Sanders, his score rookie doesn't go for a lot, compared to other things. But those are solid, sound, pretty much low-cost investments that you can buy and keep and hold on to. And you have to do it within your budget. So 2 years ago, I was buying like PSA 2 Dick Butkus rookie cards I could get for $10 because that was what I wanted to spend at that time. Could I afford more? Yeah, probably. Didn't want to spend more than that at that time. And then I just build myself up. I have one of my favorite cards I have is a 1971 Roberto Clemente. And I have a PSA 2 that I paid, I think, I don't know, I forget, $100 for. But a 3 is a lot more. Someday I might build up to that. I might not. But I just don't want people to think to have a good investment, a good base, you don't need to spend a lot of money. You just have to make good choices, because if you make good choices, the investment will rise. Doesn't matter if it started at $1, it might go to $2, and then it might go to $3. Just same as somebody who starts out with a $1,000 card, it might go to $2,000. Or you could buy a $1,000 card and go down to $1. We've all seen it. So you just have to make choices that are right for you, not for what everyone else is doing, and that's hard. Especially when you're at a show and you're set up and the guy next to you has an awesome showcase. Like if I set up next to Devin, I look pathetic. But I can't worry about, because Devin has a different clientele than I got. He has people who go up there, they want high value autos, they know to go to him. If they come to me and ask for that, I send them to him. I have more low level, dollar box, root through it. If you might find a winner in there, because guess what? I don't go through dollar boxes and see if I missed something or if something went up. If it's in there, It's a buck. If you found it, great. You got the deal. Love it. That's just how I go with things, and that's you have to stay in your lane, and there's nothing wrong with your lane. It's you have to do what you're comfortable with.
Do what you're comfortable with. Yep.
You know. All right. See, here we go. We got some more questions coming in from Ryan. Poor Dan. They're hammering him. Dan Huff's ball knowledge is questionable. I guess he feels that coach didn't give a good explanation there on his his draft. So
You didn't give him the script beforehand that he decided.
No, we hammered him. We went right away. There was no prepping. It was we hit him with it, And I'll tell you, Ryan. I don't know you, Ryan, but Coach Hoff does have ball knowledge. So one thing, he lives and breathes basketball. He's got ball knowledge. You might not agree with him, which is fine, but he has knowledge. You can't doubt that. All right, Jordan's asking, are there any Penn State cards? Yeah, there are. One NIT or on NIT, there's some big Penn State cards, or you can just get Penn Staters. I like collecting the cards that the guys are in their Penn State uniform, like Saquon. He has a bunch of prisms that he's wearing his Penn State uni. LeVar Arrington, stuff like that. I like collecting those. And then
Bowman Chrome.
Yeah.
Chrome has some good Penn State autos.
Yep. And then Jordan hit it again with Dan could have at least turned his camera on. Dan's having a little technical difficulties here. I don't think he can even hear us right now. So we'll get working on Dan. We're going to get him a setup so it looks very professional. And then that way, Dan has a lot of fans here. I will say that. Everybody, they care less about me and you, Devin.
That's how it goes. I'm used to it.
Yeah, they like talking to Dan because Dan's fun and, he's a little goofy sometimes. And people love that. That's the fun part. All right, so that's enough for the old the questions right now. That's all that seems to be rolling in. So next thing, what products, Devin, are you excited for you to put out on your table that are coming out?
Well, when they go to M price, the new tops. I mean, I'm not in love with all of them. Some of the case hits are a little, I don't know, a little bleh. But overall, some of the case hits and I do like. They're popular. Some of the ultraviolets are coming down in price now a little bit. I've started to get in one or two of them. I razzed off Peyton Manning a couple days ago. That was super popular on the page.
I saw you razzed off that Patrick Mahomes, too.
We did. We razzed off a Patrick Mahomes auto. Somebody won that off a $1 spot. So that's cool.
Stop. Really?
Spot.
That is awesome. That's awesome. I went to get on it, and I was like, I'll do it tonight when I get home. I'm like, there's 1,000 spots. We'll be good. And then I get there, and I'm like, it's gone. I was like, it's full.
We, awesome. It was awesome. 1,250 spots, $1. Took 7 hours, but guys killed it. Nothing
awesome.
But love for everybody on the page. They
that just means it was you had it at a good price. It was worth it. Everybody wanted to do it. That's awesome. Because you have other times we have ones where there's only 10 spots at like $10 and you can't fill it. It just shows it was a good card at people were willing to make the risk at a good price, and look, that guy got it for $1. That's sweet. Speaking of good deals, Devin, if you're an eBay poster and you like posting to eBay and you have your cards all automated, we have our friends over at cardluma.com. If you go on there and you use code PALSPORTS30, you get 30% off your first 3 months on Cardluma. And what Cardluma does is it automates. It's like you scan your cards, you put them in there, it identifies everything: Pokemon, TCG, non-sports. I had a bunch of A-Team cards from 1984 that it identified them all, and I had over 100 cards listed in minutes, in probably 2 or 3 minutes, and there were 0 mistakes on them. The competitors, we used to use them. There's always mistakes, and there's no customer service. They could care less about you. Cardluma is totally different, so give it a try. Check it out. We have videos on our YouTube page of me posting especially Pokemon cards, which I know nothing about, and show how easy it was using Cardluma to get over to eBay. So the other thing here, real quick, while we're doing some business, check out the Roth Razzes Facebook page. I have the link there, and I'll put it down in the description. Check it out. Devin does, and some other members, they do a bunch of Razzes like we were just talking about on there. I think Dan is going to talk to you about doing a vintage Topps baseball break. I think we're going to do a divisional break on there and he's going to talk to you, Devin, about that, how to set that up. So hopefully we'll be doing that. 1987 wax box of Topps baseball. Go
1987.
Everybody's going to go for the Bo Jackson Future Stars card that could be in there. Could be in there. And maybe, since he's not on here, we can talk about him. Maybe Dan will eat the gum.
Oh, maybe that should be his punishment for missing today.
That maybe we can make that another thing. People can buy in, and if we hit a certain number, Dan will eat the gum. Then we'll donate the money to like Children's Hospital or Make-A-Wish or something like that.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. Dan doesn't know that yet, but he'll do it. He'll play
like
ball
that.
there.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So, parting shots here. We've been on for about half an hour, so we try keeping it too. So, Devin, you going anywhere? You have any shows coming up?
I'm actually off for a little bit. My bachelor party's this weekend, so I'm headed off to Vegas tomorrow. Yep, head off to Vegas tomorrow, 4th of July weekend. Gonna hit the card vault, Brady's card shop. Gonna see what all the hype's about. Heard there's quite a few card shops out there, so I'm actually excited to mix a little bit of business with pleasure, hopefully. But cool. Super excited.
There's a lot of pawn shops out there too.
A lot of pawn shops. I'm excited to see that. Maybe meet Rich Harrison.
Yeah, hey, maybe you can sell him something. So, but no, that's awesome. We're pretty much, we don't have much going on. I think our next one is like let me look at the calendar. The 19th of July, we're in Denver, Pennsylvania at the Card Boys show, and then the week after we're at our show, and Devin will be there, the PA State Card Show in Reading. That's on the 25th of July, and then we're pretty much laid back and dead, I think, until about like end of September, October. It's tough at the beginning of the season there with everything, but everybody who's been on there, thanks for coming on. Thanks for checking us out. Hit that like and subscribe button for us. It gets us some good followers. Plus, you'll get notifications on when we do launch. We probably won't have a show next week. Maybe the week after we'll get back on, and we'll have a lot to talk about. So keep those comments coming in. Let us know. That only gives us topics we can talk about, whatever you want to hear. All right. So thanks, everybody. Keep collecting.
Sir, thanks, guys.